Hey folks, update time. I'm pretty much done with this. I gotta do something about it. It's keeping me awake at night now, and that's how I know it's time to at least get rid of my hair. It's getting kind of long. It's really hot when I'm trying to sleep. But this is getting really itchy. Really itchy. So I'll take care of that one of these days when I get the energy. So I got some unexpected snow. I'll show you the radar image first. And seeing it coming, it looks like we're going to get snow, like maybe, 2 or 3 hours. It's not moving very fast. Well, when it got here, it's this long straight line. And when it got here, the part that was over us just kind of stayed, and the rest of it just kind of turned like this and then moved out. It snowed all friggin' day. I was expecting 2 or 3 hours of snow. No, it snowed all day. We never got a lot, but I don't know if you can see it. I guess you can see it. There's enough light there. But we didn't get a lot. The problem is very wet and heavy. So I can't use the blower on it, and I really don't want to use the shovel. That's too much work. That's really heavy for me to move that stuff around. And in the last video I mentioned how I'm gonna sit here and decide whether I'm gonna try. Well, I did try. I pushed the shovel 3 times. And it was done. It's just too heavy. I don't have the energy for that anymore. But I don't know. Temperatures are kind of leveled off around the freezing mark, so not a lot of this is going to melt. And it drops below freezing overnight. I forgot to mention that before. Even with the nice above freezing temperatures in the daytime, it was dropping below freezing at night. So the melt was very minuscule. We did get a fair amount of rain, and that did help, but it's still here. It didn't all go away, but everything's kind of leveled off. So what we got is probably gonna stay. I don't know what this laneway is gonna look like if I leave it for a while, because the monster drove through it no problem. I had no issues going through it, but if we get more and I have to clear the part that's here, it's gonna be frozen and it's gonna be a pain. So I don't know. I just don't know. I used to love winter. I don't anymore. If I didn't have my illness, if I wasn't susceptible to the cold now, and I didn't have my lack of energy and the weakness in that, I probably still wouldn't mind it, because I don't have a lot to do here. I have less to clean up here than I did in Hanover. But I just don't have the health to do it anymore. But, another month. February is usually pretty nasty. Last few years it hasn't been, so hopefully that happens again this year. March is when we usually start seeing a melt, and we'll get more storms in March, but the temperature generally stays warm-ish. Not warm, but I don't know. We'll see. Keep going. You're gonna do the neighbor's driveway, aren't you? Just because I'm talking tractor with a blower on it, Yep, he's getting in the neighbor's driveway. I'm going to take a break, I'll be back. Okay, he's gone. I actually did two laneways. I'm going to turn off the monster's charger here, just in case it's annoying. So, let's talk about monster issues. First of all, my right front wheel bearings are shot. They're going snap, crackle, pop, so they're trying to seize up. That's really annoying. It hasn't even been a year yet since I put the new ones in, the cheap ones that I put in. So, I got the expensive ones in the left-hand side. Didn't stop the wobbling, but at least they're quiet. So I might get another set, spend another $60, and put them on this side this year. See how long they last this time. It's crazy. Such a bad design. So issues are piling up. I'm still getting error code 2 on occasion. Only here. When I stop in my laneway here, that's the only place I've got it so far. But I'm not worried about that because I know that's a brake issue. I'm not too concerned at this moment because that's an easy fix if I ever get to it. The other day I went out. I don't remember when it was. I think it was the day after we got the rain. So last time I came in, I pulled straight in. I couldn't turn around to back in. So I think it was the day that I had to dig to get out and dig to get back in. I drove straight in. I knew there's no way I was going to be able to turn around and back in. Well, the next time I went out, I had to back out. So I come out here, I turn the monster on, and after a second, I start getting... I don't know if I can do this. No, I can't do this with the charger plugged in. Okay. So, this is what it's supposed to look like when I turn it on. Well, the sound like, to be more precise. But turned it on, and after about 2 seconds, I was getting this. That would be my horn, if you can call it a horn. It was solid. It just came on. It just came on and stayed on. I'm thinking, oh no, what now? It's got nothing to do with the wiring, got nothing to do with anything getting wet. I'm thinking, oh great. I turned the monster off. I'm looking, I got no errors whatsoever. Nothing out of the ordinary showed up on the display. I'm thinking, what the heck? So I turned it off, waited a second, turned it back on. It was quiet for a second, then it came on again. Thinking, oh no. That's an easy fix, sort of, kinda. Not exactly easy, but all I gotta do is take the front panel off and disconnect the horn. Disconnect my beeper. And that problem will be solved, but that's not the root of the problem. What's causing that? So that kind of freaked me out. It's like, oh no, what now? So I said, well, maybe it'll go off. I backed out all the way down to the post office. It's still on. So from here to the corner, 1 block, 2 blocks, up the street here, turned right, about halfway down the street, it kind of faded out for about 5 seconds, then came back again. It was on from there to the post office, the rest of that block. And from the post office, I went from there to Circle K. Somewhere in that area, it finally faded out and stopped, and it hasn't done it since. I have no idea. I have no idea, guys. I'm going to assume it's a controller issue, like everything else I'm assuming is a controller issue, like with my lights not working. But I don't know. I just don't know. But that's kind of concerning. What now? What else was there? I think possibly the same night, or the next, maybe it was the next night, I went out. I don't remember why I went out, but I went out and I stopped down at the dam, and I think that was the same night that I got the panorama that you can't see. I was coming up the road here, and I'm hearing this noise. I'm thinking, what the heck is that noise? Couldn't figure out what it was. It's I knew it wasn't the bearings. That's got its own sound. There's some other sound that it's making. I'm not sure what it was. But I noticed my headlight on the bumper is pointing downward again. So I looked and, okay, the bumper fell down. Because I've got it pulled tight, and I got the bungee cord on the top to hold it up. Well, apparently it came down, and it was the bottom of it was dragging on the road occasionally. Okay, well, I'll deal with that when I get home. So I put it back where it's supposed to be, and it hasn't moved since. So I don't know, maybe when I was backing out of that snowbank where I parked on the snowmobile tack down part, maybe when I come out of there it hit the bumper and just kind of pulled it forward and allowed it to fall. I don't know. But either way, today I'm actually out in the morning. It's starting to get light out now. But what time is it? Yeah, 7:30 right now. I didn't want to go out, but I had to. Excuse me. I had to go to the bank get some money for tax. Oh, excuse me again. So I went to Timmy's, grabbed me a coffee, and I went to the bank, and I went and sat down there again. And I got out, the river's up a bit. We got a fair amount of rain. So I walked down to the end of the boat launch, stood there, watched the river for a bit. And I turned around, and somebody, one of my viewers asked me a question, or I don't know if he's a constant viewer or if he just had an issue with a monster that he has, and went searching. I don't know. Either way, he found my channel. He asked me about my lights, and apparently he tried to put, like my bumper light here, he tried to put a light on, but he hooked it up to the headlights, so it's running the same circuit. Now, the problem with that is, according to the manual, which, you know, isn't 100% accurate anyways, the maximum wattage you're allowed for the light circuit is 55 watts. So I'm assuming he exceeded that, and he couldn't turn his lights off. Turn the monster off and the lights would stay on. So the only way to stop him was to disconnect the battery. You know, the stupid way that the monster is designed is everything goes through the controller, everything. And that's why I have all my own circuits, so, you know, I run directly from the battery. But the batteries connect to the controller, and everything comes off the controller. So the controller's constantly got power. So if something's messed up in the controller, like the light circuit, it's, you know, the lights are going to get power whether it's turned on or not, right? A really dumb design, but, you know, that's the way it is, right? So he was asking me, you know, if I had any idea what's going on, and I said, you know, if you overloaded that circuit, it's possible, you know, it may have damaged the controller. And I told him, I says, I have the opposite problem right now. My lights won't come on. Which is probably the same issue. I've changed all the wiring, not all the wiring, but a lot of the wiring, and it hasn't fixed the problem. So I'm assuming it's a controller issue. I can test that. I do have a backup controller, my original, that I thought was going in the first place. I can test that. I just haven't, you know, it's a lot of work to change that. So I haven't. But I do want to experiment with that still. but it reminded me of, if you remember, if you've been with with me for a while, with my Monster in its Natural Habitat series, when I was at the conservation area at night, I stopped by a swamp. I was listening to the frogs, just took a break. I had the monster turned off, and I noticed my headlights were glowing. And at first there was just, a little bit of light from the sky, and the cones where the lights are in the monster's headlights, they're silver, so I thought maybe light was reflecting from the sky. So I put my hands around it and looked, and nope, they're on. Just glowing just enough to see them. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. It rained that night, so I thought maybe, something got wet. But, since then, I know, everything goes through the controller, so even if something did get wet, as long as the monster's off, the headlights should not have power. So it's definitely something with the controller. And I wanted to check that ever since. It's been, what, 6 years now, 7 years? I still haven't checked. I've been wanting to. Just sometime when I'm out at night, just check and see if the lights are still on when it's dry. Okay. Well, I did that check tonight. Not intentionally. Because when I was at the boat launch, when I turned around, the monster's headlights were glowing, and I could see them from the boat launch, like a good distance away. So, I got my camera out, and from the end of the bottom of the boat launch, I zoomed in on the monster, and you can actually see it. I don't think it focused. It's too dark for the camera to focus, but you can see the headlights. The monster's eyes are glowing. So it's definitely a common issue, apparently. But, this heavy wet snow, and it's really damp right now. I'm not sure what the temperature is, but it's not really cold. I'm sitting here without my gloves on. My hands are cool, but they're not cold. And there's a little bit of fog when I was out, so the temperature is nice. So, is it a moisture issue? I still don't know that. But I do know that issue is still there, apparently. But, even still, it could still be the controller. I love the monster. I love the monster. I love the monster. I love the monster. When it's working, I love the monster. All other times it's a real pain. But, if the controller didn't, control everything, it wouldn't be such an issue. There's no reason why the headlights, or any of the lights, except maybe the flashing brake light, there's no reason any of that should have to go through the controller. It should be on its own circuit. There's no reason for that. Like I said, the monster's way too technical. A lot of stuff that just should be basic, but it's not. It's just messed up. So, I had mentioned in one of my videos that if I keep my camera fully charged, I didn't mention it, I think I just added text, because I was sitting down at the river. I think that was the day that I got spinning my tires trying to back up. I threw text on the screen because it was really loud, the electrical noise. And I mentioned I have noticed that if I keep that camera fully charged, it won't do that. Well, apparently that's not always the case. Because it has done it a couple times. It did it on the blower, when I had the light on the blower. In that video I heard it, not loud. And I have heard it up here once. I think one night I went out at night and I had it on in the waterproof case, so I wasn't trying to look through the polarizing filter and lose some of my detail. Yeah, I noticed it was doing it there too. Not as bad. It really, really makes a huge difference, so I'm going to keep it charged up and not rely on the scooter's power supply to keep it going. Yeah, it's just but like I said, it makes a big difference. So I think that's all I got. I'm super busy right now. I got so much. I'm so backed up with what I need to do in my computer. So much needs to be done now. And it's just, stuff takes time. And I just don't have the time, and I'm sleeping so much now. It's like 3 or 4 times a day. I don't have time to really do anything anymore. It's driving me nuts. I got comments I need to get to. I got emails I need to get to, and just not getting to them. It's driving me crazy. Because I can't do that while I'm doing this other stuff that has to be done now. And I wake up, and I'm up for like 2 or 3 hours, and my eyes are sore, I can't stay awake. I'm hoping it's just, a phase of my illness. Because like I say, I can't stay awake unless my body wants to. I can't sleep unless my body wants to. So, right now it just wants to sleep. And it's quite a time waster. I heard a quote one time. I think it was George Carlin. I don't remember exactly. I think it was him. And he said, "You're talking about an all-nighter? I can't even pull an all-dayer." Yeah, that's pretty much me right now. It's nuts. Anyways, I guess that's all I got. Got some more content for you guys to watch.